The animal shelter was unusually quiet that rainy afternoon. Rows of kennels lined the walls, filled with wagging tails, hopeful eyes, and desperate whimpers. Every dog seemed eager for attention, every dog except one. In the farthest, dimly lit corner sat a massive German Shepherd mix with a thick scar running from his left ear to his jaw. His nameplate read Rex, but to the shelter staff, he was that dog, the one no one wanted. Rex never wagged his tail when people walked by. He didn't whine or bark for attention like the others. Instead, he sat motionless, his amber eyes sharp and guarded, as if silently warning people to stay away. The shelter volunteers whispered about him. He's dangerous. He was taken from an abusive owner. He's attacked before, he's unpredictable. For 8 long months, Rex had been passed over. Families came and went, cooing over puppies or friendly older dogs. But Rex, people didn't even stop to read his story. One Tuesday morning, the shelter bell jingled, and a tall man in a worn leather jacket stepped in. His name was Ethan Cole, a quiet, bearded man who had recently moved to the small town after leaving his job in the city. He told the shelter worker he was looking for a dog, preferably one that others might overlook. The young volunteer laughed awkwardly, certain Ethan didn't mean that overlooked. But when Ethan's eyes swept across the kennels, they stopped at Rex. "Tell me about him," Ethan said, pointing toward the scarred dog. The worker hesitated. "Rex isn't like the others. He's been through a lot. We think he was used for fighting. He doesn't trust people. I'll take him out," Ethan interrupted, his tone calm but firm. Reluctantly, they led Rex out on a heavy-duty leash. The dog's hackles rose, and his lip curled at first, but Ethan didn't flinch. Instead, he knelt on the floor, keeping his eyes soft and his voice low. Something about the man's presence made Rex's growl fade to silence. When Ethan signed the adoption papers, the shelter manager warned him repeatedly. "You're taking a risk. He's not like other dogs. He needs patience, years of it." And even then, but Ethan simply nodded. Everyone deserves a chance. Back at Ethan's small countryside home, Rex kept his distance. He wouldn't eat when Ethan was in the room. He wouldn't sleep in the bed Ethan set up for him. But every night, Ethan would sit on the floor, reading aloud or just talking to him softly. Weeks passed before the first sign of trust appeared. A quiet moment when Rex laid down near Ethan's chair instead of at the farthest corner of the room. The truth about the dog's past. One day, while visiting the local vet, Ethan learned what the shelter hadn't fully told him. Rex had belonged to a man involved in illegal dogfighting. He had been trained to attack and had survived brutal injuries. The scar on his face wasn't the only one. There were dozens hidden beneath his fur. No wonder the world had seemed like an enemy to him. Ethan's heart broke, but it only strengthened his resolve. He started working with Rex patiently. Short walks, gentle commands, never raising his voice. Slowly, the fear in Rex's eyes softened. The day everything changed. 6 months later, it was an ordinary Sunday afternoon. Ethan was in the garden fixing a fence when Rex's sudden growl made him look up. First, he thought it was nothing. But then he heard it, a faint cry for help. Rex bolted toward the woods behind the house. Ethan ran after him, terrified he'd lose him. But when he caught up, his heart stopped. A little girl, no older than 7, was trapped in a deep ditch, her foot tangled in roots. She was muddy, crying, and shivering in fear. Rex was standing protectively above her, barking sharply, as if calling for Ethan. Ethan rushed down, freeing the girl and carrying her home. She turned out to be Sophie Miller, the neighbor's daughter, who had wandered off while playing. Her parents were frantic, and when they learned Rex had found her, they were speechless. The same dog everyone had warned Ethan about had just saved a life. Word spread quickly in the small town. The dangerous dog who had once been unwanted was now the town's hero. People who had once avoided Rex now approached to pet him. Children wanted to meet the dog who had saved Sophie. But Ethan knew the real miracle wasn't just that Rex had saved a life. It was that Rex had learned to love and trust again, despite the cruelty he'd endured. One evening, as Ethan sat on the porch, Rex rested his head on Ethan's knee for the first time. Ethan smiled, rubbing the dog's ears. "You were never the most hated," Ethan whispered. "You were just waiting for someone to see you." And for the first time, Rex wagged his tail. Not out of fear, not out of habit, but out of pure, undeniable joy.